Okay, guys, so we are going to start our September team/group meeting. I am so excited for every single one of you guys that showed up tonight, because those that show up grow up. And I know that things happen and some people can't be on, etc. But I do appreciate you guys spending an hour of your Monday night with me. I find that this is, I hope that you guys find this really valuable. So anyway, I am recording, so I will post the recording to my YouTube channel once it is completed. And something that I just wanted to mention to you guys before we actually get started with the meeting is, I know a lot of times you guys will see people like screenshotting your, taking a picture with their phone of their computer screen of us doing a team meeting. So a lot of people are like, well, why do they do that? And I wanted to kind of answer that question just because it's not like about Chastity being on the screen or Anna being on the screen. It's about showing your people that are following you that you have a community, that you have somewhere where a lot of people are still social distancing and they're not really hanging out with a lot of people, or they don't feel like they have the support. And when you do something like that, that's showing all of your followers that they're not doing Cincy alone. So that's also something to think about when you're talking about having sponsoring conversations. Do your people know that you have a community where you meet at least once a month, or a community where you have leaders that go live on your page and talk about training and stuff? Because I'm going to be honest, there's lots of other direct selling companies and teams that don't have things like that. It's just kind of one for everybody. So I just wanted to mention that before we officially got started. So I wanted to open up the meeting first with some recognition. So if you want to shout yourself out or shout somebody else out, feel free to do that in the chat box. I always kind of go back and forth of whether or not I want to do recognition at the beginning of these meetings, because our promotion reports haven't ran officially until the 10th. And I know that I'll forget somebody, and I don't want anybody to ever have their feelings hurt because I forgot them or whatever, because it's really hard to pull promotions before the 10th. So I just want to shout out that we had 3 brand new directors promote in August last month. And I get full body chills because it is just such an amazing thing. And I know a lot of people really strive for that. And I just want to shout you 3 out. So Liza Howell just promoted to director, Tasha Prescott promoted to director, and Kelsey Scott just promoted to director. And I am just so proud of you guys. That is amazing. And I am just so proud of you. I see some of my team members on here. I see some of my brand new people on here. I see you guys showing up. And so just keep up all of the hard work, and all of you promotion people, congratulations. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. And I don't even have any other words to say about that. Okay, so we're just going to keep on moving. The next or the first thing that I want to talk about is just making sure that you are staying up to date with the news tab and the consultant calendar. I know that things are crazy with keeping up with what's in stock and what's not in stock and things of that nature. One thing that helped me was that I went onto the workstation on my phone and I synced the consultant calendar with my iPhone. So now I can make sure that I always get those updates. And then as for the news tab, I know we talk a lot about checking it every single day, but here's the thing, guys. For those of us that are here that are on the East Coast, we know that the workstation the news tab doesn't typically get updated until our late afternoon, pretty much almost dinner time. So just remind yourself that that's sort of when the new news is going to come out for us. I know typically people like to check it first thing in the morning, and I still go check it first thing in the morning because you never know. Sometimes things do come out overnight, but just making sure that you are staying on top of it. because I mean, even as SSDs, we're like, I'm not really sure what's going on. There's just so much going on. So you just have to stay on top of that. Okay. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I think that this is super, super, super important. If you are a hobbyist, or if you are somebody who is wanting to build a big business, you need to have a daily mode of operation. A daily mode of operation. If you go to your daycare job or your teaching job or your grocery store job or whatever job you do, there's usually things that you have to do at the beginning of every single day and at the end of every single day to kind of open up and to close up, right? So while we are running our Scentsy businesses, we need to decide on a daily mode of operation. And the reason why that's so important is because you've heard me, you've heard other leaders talk about nothing matters unless you do it consistently. And you're not going to do things consistently on accident. It's just not going to happen that way. But here's the thing. Too many people try to say, well, just tell me what my daily mode of action needs to be. Nobody can do that because you have to decide what your daily mode of action is going to be. What are you going to do every single day to build your business? Obviously, we know that there's going to be things that have to be done that are not a daily thing, such as making samples. If you're making samples every single day, you need a new system because you should be bulk sampling or doing something different, because doing that every single day is fluff. So for instance, and in addition, your daily mode of operation, it helps you stay focused. It helps you get more done. Like I said, it creates consistency. It prevents you from being overwhelmed. And it teaches your team that they can do your job. Because the biggest thing that people need to realize is that if you can teach your team to duplicate what you're doing, then you're going to find other people that can find success. But if you're running around like a squirrel with your head cut off and you never know what's going on, number one, a lot of people aren't going to want to do that. And number two, it's not duplicatable. Whatever you're doing, make it to where it's easy for someone who's brand new to copy that and make it duplicatable, right? So you want to create things that are going to be easy to do. So for instance, your daily mode of operation should include something about talking to people, because when your mouth is closed, your business is closed. I know that there's social media, but if social media goes away tomorrow, you need to make sure that you have a way to get in contact with your customers, and there's a way that you've been building a relationship with your customers besides just through Facebook Messenger. They could decide tomorrow that they're done with it. And so you need to make sure that every single day you're talking to people, because if you go a whole day and you're not talking to people at all, your business has been closed the whole day. So make sure it includes talking to people. That can be following up. That can be building relationships. That can be booking parties. That can be having sponsoring conversations. That is a wide range of things. That's why I'm saying that it just needs to include talking to people. For me, I used to say, I'm going to go and connect with 5 people daily. You don't have to say that you're going to connect with 5 people daily. And I'm going to be honest, I got away from that for a while because it wasn't right there in front of my face. And I'm very much like, I'm going to go put my head down and get to work, and I'll sit in my office all day and not talk to anybody, because that is a dream. An introvert's dream is for nobody to talk to them. Like, praise Jesus, hallelujah, nobody spoke to me today. But that's not going to do anything for my business. So I have to make sure that I am doing that. Something else with your daily mode of operation, guys, you have to personal develop. You have to. You have to personal develop. If you are not personally developing, then you are not growing. And if you are not growing, your business is going to die. There is no such thing as staying stagnant in this business. You're either growing or dying. And I know that sounds really, really harsh, but the second that you even realize that you've been coasting for the last 6 months, you're like, oh my God, I don't know where my 500 is going to come from, because you've been chilling. And I know that it's hard, and I know that you get tired, but you have to rest, not quit. And I can definitely self-reflect and say that anytime that my business goes through a dip, I realize that I'm not personally developing myself. That means I'm not listening to trainings, or I'm not listening to a podcast, or I'm not doing something to improve my mood. And I'm just letting the world or my situation or whatever happens to me every day dictate the way that I feel and dictate the way that I work. And if we do that in the way that the world is right now, we know that that's not always going to be a positive thing. And Anna just typed in the chat box, challenge yourself to learn something new all the time. Amen. And I mean, as SSDs, as directors, as any type of consultant, if you're always learning, then you're always going to be growing. And it's not like you get to SSD and you're like, oh, I made it, I'm good, I'm good. No, I literally just watched 3 trainings today. Yes, I was doing things in my office, but I was listening and taking notes and writing things down, because it doesn't matter how many times you hear somebody say something. It may just be something that's been said to you about 50 times from somebody different, and it's going to hit different. And it's going to make you actually like take that into account. So every day you need to be talking to people. Every day you need to be personally developing. Marissa asked, talking to 5 new people. Sometimes it's 5 new people. Sometimes it's 5 people that I'm building a relationship with. Sometimes it's getting out of the house and going and passing out samples or whatever. It doesn't always have to be 5 new people, because I'm not going to set that standard for myself, because then I'm going to feel like a failure on a day if that doesn't happen. But for me, I have to be super, super intentional with actually being relationship driven, because I'm not that type of person. I'm very much like, I'll be by myself and be completely fine to be by myself. And so you have to realize that in this type of business, it is a relationship building business. The next thing with daily mode of operation, you've got to be living the Scentsy life every single day. That doesn't mean you're posting Scentsy flyers. That doesn't mean that you're just spamming everybody with Scentsy. It means that you're always looking for a way for Scentsy to insert into someone's life. When somebody asks you what you do, what do you say? When someone says, I really don't know how I'm going to pay for Christmas, how can Scentsy solve that problem? So if you put your Scentsy, like if you're living and breathing Scentsy, it's not going to be hard for you to bring it up. It's going to come up in your everyday life. And so when you're living that Scentsy life, it's always there. It's products that you use every single day. It's things that you are listening to every single day. But I just want you guys to realize that everybody is busy. Everybody has a reason to not work their business. Everybody could have an excuse to not work their business. So you have to decide how you're going to use your time. And the great thing about this business is that it can be worked in quick 15-minute spurts. It doesn't have to be an all day sit down, work at my desk type of thing. You can get things done in the nooks and crannies in your life. And that's why most of us started this in the first place. So when you get to feeling yourself feeling really overwhelmed and like you just have so much to do, take it back to basics. And if it doesn't make you money, stop doing it. Just stop doing it. Stop doing all the fluff and get out and meet new people. Stop doing all the things that don't matter. If you are currently struggling in your business right now, recruiting is always the answer. And I say that because you have to continue to recruit the many to find the few, because it only takes one person to completely change your business. Just one person to join your team to completely change your business. But if you are waiting on the one person you sponsored to be the one, you're going to be waiting for a long time. You might as well hang that hat up and be done with it, because that is not, it's very rare that the very first person that you sponsor is your 1%er. You have to continue to sponsor to find the people that are ready to build a business. And if you're on this call tonight and you just want to be a hobbyist, that is completely fine. We are A-okay with that. But if you are a business builder, you have to continue to recruit. So if you feel like your business is in a slump, ask yourself, how many new people have you brought into the business? Because those new people are going to give you fire. Those new people are going to motivate you. If you're having trouble with your team and you're like, well, my team isn't really communicating with me, I can't get such and such response, I'm not hitting numbers, stop worrying about it and go find some more people. And please, for the love of God, do not say that you can't find anybody to party or join your team, because 49% of people in the United States have never even heard of Cincy. We have some work to do. And I'm sorry I'm worked up about that, because I know that I want to meet all of the new people, and I want you guys to meet all of the new people. And I know how amazing our freaking company is, and I know how amazing our products are. So if you are saying that you can't find anybody to do those things, you're not going out and doing the things that make you uncomfortable, period. Because going out and talking to new people is uncomfortable. Speaking to people that in the line while you're at Target or while you're in the candle aisle, just hanging out, waiting to pass out a sample, it's uncomfortable. It's awkward. Don't tell me that you can't do it, because if your girl's doing it, because your girl needs some new customers and some new contacts, you guys can do the exact same thing. So recruiting is always going to be the answer to your situation. Your brand new people are going to bring fire, and they're going to wake up the people that have been sleeping for 6 months. And when they don't wake up, they're going to say, peace out, Girl Scout, once the will cancel thing starts rolling back through. Because you don't need to worry about the dead weight. You need to worry about the ones that are business builders and ready to rise with you. So I want you guys to remember that. In addition to this, with the daily modes of operation, you should not be stressing out so much about your team that your personal business is failing. 80-20 is the rule I will live and die by. 80% of your time needs to go towards your personal business, and 20% needs to go to your team. So if your team members are texting you at midnight, you need to set business hours. If your team members are asking you questions that you know can be answered by looking at the workstation or the news tab, you need to not respond for 24 hours. And I know that that sounds harsh, but everybody that is on here right now, we are our own business owners. And it's a very hard thing to understand, especially when you're a brand new leader, especially when you're a brand new director. It's very hard to understand why you shouldn't respond to everybody right away. But eventually, I hope that, and if it's your goal, that I hope that you get to the point where there's zero way that you could ever touch and train every single one of those people. We're now at almost 1,300 people. I can't train 1,300 people. That's why we have a chain of command. And that's why if you teach your team to do things that are duplicatable, everything is going to continue to trickle down. So remember that when it comes to your daily mode of operation, do not get so caught up in taking care of your team that you forget to take care of you. You personal develop yourself, and do not forget to take care of your personal business and your personal customers, because those are the most important things, and that's something that you can never stop doing. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about are just some business tips in general. And I'm going to be honest, I took a lot of these from I'm putting my own spin on them, but I watched a training by Queen Jennifer Anderson, who is legit gold. So if you don't have people that you are already subscribed to and watch on YouTube, I highly suggest you find people, because even though Chloe is amazing and I look up to her for pretty much everything, sometimes JA can say something in a different way and it hits me different. And I hope and pray that Chloe can speak to some of you guys, or Jennifer Anderson can speak to some of you guys, and it hits a different way. And I started listening to this training last week, and it was a day that I was having like a really hard day for no particular reason. Just the devil was fighting, and I woke up not motivated and just feeling less than. And I listened to her, and one of her biggest business tips is having a mindset morning. And if you're one of my directors, you saw that I posted that, and I even posted it on my regular like feed, was that every morning now I wake up and I do a gratitude journal, which is literally just 3 things that I'm thankful for. I do my devotion, which is me just reading my devotional, talking to God, praying through it. And then I write down my affirmations. The affirmations were something that I came up with on my own. Some days I write down the exact same thing. Some days after I read my devotional, I feel something different. So I write down exactly what I like want to accomplish that day. And that's really helped me like reframe my brain. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'll wake up, I'll come in my office, and I already have written down what I'm going to do. Like, so I already have it written down what I'm going to do tomorrow, like my plan. But then when I wake up, I'll have text messages and Facebook messages and emails, and I'll let myself get caught up in that and never get to what I have planned to do. And then I go to bed feeling so much less than, because I got overwhelmed and I didn't do what I planned. So I don't feel accomplished. And I've realized that if I just stop, and it doesn't even take 15 minutes, and do those things in the morning, I leave them out on my bed. So anytime I go back in there, if I'm feeling like super overwhelmed or whatever, I can look right back at it. Because starting your morning off right has 110% affected me here recently. Making my bed, spraying it, doing those things. I notice on mornings that I don't do that, my mindset is just not exactly where it needs to be. So yeah, Kayla, definitely share any apps that you guys have. For me, I'm doing Mind Paper Pencil, because I know as soon as I get on my phone, I get squirrely and distracted. So I leave my phone out of my room and I do those things, and I really just pray and like speak over the day. So setting your mindset for the day is going to be really, really important. The next tip that I have for you is to be you. Not your sponsor, not me, not Anna, not Liza, not Elizabeth. You need to be you. And you need to decide what that is, because people don't, I know you guys have heard me say this before, people aren't buying Scentsy from Scentsy. They're buying Scentsy from you. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if somebody like Googles Scentsy, they're going to go to Scentsy.com, and Scentsy.com is going to assign them a consultant based on where they live, because Scentsy doesn't want to just take somebody's money. Scentsy wants you to have a relationship with a consultant. So if you ever have a order come through that says like Scentsy.com, it's because they found you through the consultant locator. And that's one thing that I love about this business, is they could literally just take that money and never assign it to a consultant, but they don't, because they care and because they believe in generosity, which is given more than you take. Because like I said, they could just take that, and being authentic. People don't buy from me because I act like somebody else. People buy from me because I have a relationship with them. And that's okay if you're not everybody's people. You're going to be some people's people. Unless you're just a negative Nancy, then you just need to get your life together. But people are buying from you. So don't try to be anybody else. I can't be Bailey with all the fancy graphics. I'm not going to be somebody that makes all of these mold samples. I hate it. I'm not going to do it. And it doesn't bring me joy. If it doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. I don't care what somebody else is doing. Stay in your own lane and be you. If glitter isn't you, don't freaking do glitter, guys. Like, you need to be you. That is the most important thing that I think that anybody honestly can take away from Scentsy, is Scentsy gave me the confidence to be me, because people chose me for me. Just remember that. Another tip is be a good consultant. Be a good consultant. When I say be a good consultant, that means that you're educated. That means that you've read your news tab. That means you know when things are coming off of back order. That means you know when your customers' orders are going to ship. That means you know that licensed products can't be used for free and half off. That means you know that with boxes are $5 less, that that are only 25 PRV. Like, be a good consultant. And that's a tip, because you guys don't know how many consultants there are out there that ask really silly questions. Guys, there's superstar directors that ask really, really silly questions that if they were being a good consultant, they would know the answer to. And that's not me being ugly. It's like using sense, reading your consultant guide, reading your product training guide, going on the workstation and searching. So be a good consultant, because I'm going to be honest with you. If you have a customer that comes to you and starts asking you questions, and it's okay to not know the answer right then, you don't have to respond automatically. You can take a couple minutes or a couple hours if you need to and figure out the answer. But if you just never go back to them and answer their question because you didn't know the answer or you didn't care to figure it out, they're not going to continue to shop with you. Because guys, they can buy from anyone, and they can post on Facebook and say, who knows if cider mill's coming out as counter clean? And there's going to be somebody that knows, and there's going to be somebody that's going to offer that to them. So just be a good consultant. You don't have to know everything automatically, because trust me, I get questions all the time that I don't know the answer to. And it's okay for me to say, I don't know, but let me go and find out. Or it's okay for me to just not respond instantly, because we don't have to be Amazon Prime, and go and find out that answer. But I have to make sure that I'm going to go back and take care of them. So be a good consultant. That seems like something that's very much in your face, but I promise you there are people that are just not doing that. My next tip for you is to live the Scentsy life. You should always be looking for a way that Scentsy can fix your customers' problems. If you are going to be a Scentsy lady, a Scentsy man, a Scentsy anything, the biggest thing you need to remember is that you need to be a professional problem solver. There's very few things in life that Scentsy can't fix. Be honest. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm gonna put some jumping jelly bean on in my office, and I'm gonna turn my frown upside down. Scents build memories, and I think that that's something that a lot of people really forget. But I don't know about you guys, I can always remember what my grandma's house smells like. I can always remember what, like, pulling stuff out of an attic and mothballs smell like. Like, you remember what things smell like, and Scentsy can fix those problems. Whether it's just your wax and warmers or cleaning products, laundry, anything, Scentsy can fix people's problems. But you also need to remember that people need this business opportunity. Think about it right now. This is September. How many people are already stressing over how they're going to buy people Christmas gifts? Lots of people, because they probably just paid their credit cards off that they bought last year's Christmas on. Guys, we have an amazing opportunity for people to join and pay cash for Christmas. You've got to think about people that can use that. And it's not just about what's going to happen for us, it's about what's going to happen for them. And that's the one thing that I can always count on, is that Scentsy's always going to give more than they take. And I think that if you can, like, reframe your brain and think about how Scentsy can solve someone's problem, like, that's when you're going to bless all of the people. Something else I wrote down from Jennifer Anderson is, don't be afraid of the no. So when you're looking for, or when you're living your Scentsy life, don't be afraid of the no, and don't be afraid or miss opportunities because you're scared. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been in places where I'm like, dang, I should have mentioned that to her, and like wanted to kick myself for it, when she could have been your next superstar director, when she could have been the 1%er that changes your business, because you were scared. Because let me tell you this, you can't say yes for someone, but you can say no for them. And every time that you do not ask somebody, you're saying no for them and not even giving them the opportunity to say yes. So you're stealing that opportunity from them because of something that's in your own brain. And if you're going to make something up in your own brain, why not make it be something that's going to serve you? instead of something that's going to hurt you. Make it something that's going to serve you instead of hurt you. So don't take away someone's opportunity to say yes. You can't say yes for them, but you sure as heck can say no. Okay? The next tip I had written down was personal development. It's not anyone's job but yours to train yourself. It's not mine. It's not your sponsors. It's not your directors. It's not your superstar directors. It is your job. And you can take it to the grave. It is nobody else's job but yours to train yourself. Because let's be honest, we are in 2020. Anything that you want to know about anything is on YouTube. Period. And when I joined 5 years ago, none of the things were on YouTube. Not even just YouTube. Our team pages, all of these directors' team pages, I know because I'm on them, they have a million resources. They have everything that you could possibly need. Your workstation has everything that you could possibly need. So if you don't know the answer to something, that is your choice. Ignorance is a choice in 2020. Don't blame your sponsor. Don't blame somebody else. It is your job to know the things. Now, if you don't know something and you've searched for it and you can't find it, of course, reach out and ask. But if you don't know something in 2020, ignorance is a choice, period. And nobody is going to feel sorry for you that you didn't know that the pre-sale started again tomorrow because you didn't check your news tab. That is not your sponsor's job to tell you. Not your sponsor's job. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. And I'm sorry if I'm stepping on somebody's toes, but it is your job as a consultant to know those things, because Chastity doesn't know those things unless Chastity goes and looks. Because Chloe Cox is my sponsor, and I can tell you right now, Chloe Cox ain't texting me to say, hey, pre-sale starts tomorrow. No, ain't nobody got time for that, because I have to worry about my customers, not worrying about whether the grown adults have read the news tab, because that's just where we're at. You have to be 18 to join Cincy. That means you're a grown adult. That means you have the capability of taking care of what's on the news tab, because at the end of the day, that's all you have to have. At the end of the day, your team page is a privilege, not a right. So if you're being negative or you're being ugly or you're misusing it, bye. We don't have to have those things. And you can turn people into Cincy all you want. It's not something that we have to do. So remember that, and remember that all of us are just people. We're all just people like you. We all have busy lives. We all have things that go on, okay? You have all of the resources that you could possibly need. Anything that you don't know, go out and find it. And I promise you, nobody is going to be upset with you if you ask them something and you're like, hey, I looked such and such, I looked here, can you show me this? Nobody's going to be upset if you've actually tried to find the answer, but you have to go and try. We all know that the workstation's funny sometimes about words that you can search. We all know that the team pages are funny sometimes if you put an S on bag parties and it may just have said bag party. We know that sometimes that's not going to show up. That's okay. But what's not okay is thinking that your sponsor, your director, your superstar director, your leader is going to spoon feed you, because that's not what we do around these parts. Okay. Next thing, you find success in this business by following people that are successful in doing what they do. That does not mean being the exact same person as your sponsor. But that means if you see them showing up every day on social media, not just sharing flyers, sharing how they are using Cincy in their everyday life, if you see them building relationships with people, if you see them going to Cincy events, if you see them posting on their social that they're listening to podcasts, if you see those people welcoming team members to the team page, if you see those people congratulating people on the team pages, guys, do what they do. There's a reason. Nothing that very many successful people in Cincy do is on accident. There is always a reason. And that's not like a vain, crazy reason, but there's a reason why I post that I listen to Trent Shelton. number one, I love it. Number two, I want to help other people. But number three, I'm bringing value to people that follow me. And if you're not bringing value to the people in your circle, why in the world would they want to continue to follow you? Because in a world today full of hate and full of all the crazy and all the negative, I unfollow and snooze the heck out of people that are negative and that are not bringing value to my life. And if you're a Scentsy consultant and all I see on your stories or this, that, and the third are flyers, I unfollow you. I don't want to look at that. That's boring. And I know your customers don't want to look at it either, because people get on social to be social and to be entertained. Think about how many people are scrolling on their phone while waiting in the drive-through line. How many people are waiting in line at Target while they are waiting to check out. That's why people are on social media, to be entertained and actually be social. Ain't nobody entertained by a million flyers. Will you see me post flyers? Absolutely. There's a time and place for things like that. But if I go to your social media and all I see is flyers and there ain't a picture of you on your like profile, bye. I think you're a fake person. And that's not me being ugly. It's, you're not going to find a successful person in Scentsy that doesn't have a picture of their face. You're not going to find a successful person in any network marketing business where I have to search for what you look like. So remember that when it comes to things like that, okay? When you're looking for people that you want to follow and that are being successful, that doesn't just mean SSDs. I say that because there are superstar directors, there are star directors, there are people who've been with Scentsy for 15 years that don't do the things that need to be done. They don't do the things that are being that are successful. They don't work their businesses the way that they should, and they are not people that you should follow. So just because somebody is a superstar director, that don't mean shit. And I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. You could be following a brand new essential consultant that joined your team that is bringing all the fire and all the ideas. Whatever is working is what you need to follow. Okay? So if you see somebody doing something and they're having success, give it a try. But please, dear God, if it isn't working, stop doing it. Stop doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting to find success if that's not what your customers want and like. Because I saw people do mystery bags forever, and I didn't want to do mystery bags because they're a lot of work. And I was struggling with PRV for a little while last year. I started doing mystery bags, and dang if all the people didn't come out of the woodwork, because people wanted mystery bags. But then I've done them since, and they haven't had as much hit, because there's going to be ebbs and flows in your business. There are things that are going to work for me that aren't going to work for you. There's going to be things that are going to work for Anna that aren't going to work for the other Anna. So you have to decide what's going to work for you and your customers, because everybody has a different customer base. Same thing with how you train your team. Consistency and things being duplicatable is super important, but everybody can't train the exact same way. If that were the case, then everybody would rise and be a superstar director, and there wouldn't be any essential consultants, because everybody would be trained the exact same way. So remember that. Another tip is to never stop talking. I've already said that, but if your mouth is closed, your business is closed. Yes, Liza. Yes, yes, yes. That's the word I was looking for. So Liza said, what works for you today may not work for you tomorrow. Be adaptable. And that is the one thing in Scentsy that I think has made me probably be so much of a better person, because everything is always changing. And I don't do change well. And I've noticed that when my business goes through a dip, it's because Chastity's trying to be the same, but Chastity has to change it up. Like, you've got to change it up. You've got to be adaptable. You've got to realize that not everything's going to work all the time. And something else about adaptability that I love is, and that I think is super, super important for all of you guys, is to be transparent with your customers. Ask them what they want. Ask them if they like mystery bags. Ask them if they want to see what they want to see. And your customers are going to tell you, and they're going to be honest with you. And that's how I figured out the payment methods that I was going to offer people. Before, I only used to really use PayPal, because that was what I liked to use. But when I went and polled my customers, I realized that I needed to just offer PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Cash App. I needed to offer all of them because you don't know what some people's situation is. Let me tell you that this one girl gets her child support through Cash App. No judgment. So she's using her child support money that's in that Cash App to buy Scentsy. That ain't my business. But if I'm not taking Cash App because I didn't want to be adaptable and take care of my customers, I'm missing out on that and somebody else is going to use Cash App, right? So asking your customers what they need. And exactly, Anna Watson said that y'all have changed how I do follow-ups, revamp parties, all of the things multiple times. Exactly, because let me tell you this, that when you go through things in your business, when you go through things in your life, systems that you used before are no longer going to work for you because things are changing. And so if it's not working for you, stop doing it and figure out something else that does. And that's what I love about Liza, is that a lot of the systems, pretty much all of the systems that I had put out were not working for her. She had to decide what was going to work for her, and she created something that worked for her brain. And since then, she has been thriving. And I've seen her just like, it makes me get really emotional because I've just seen her like really come into her element. And like, she is like such her own person in it. And you can tell that there's so much joy. So you have to find what's going to bring you joy in that. And Trello stresses me out, but Liza and lots of other people love it. And that's what I want for all of you guys, is to realize what's going to work for you. So remember that. And that's kind of my next point with seasons change. PRV is PRV. It doesn't matter where your PRV comes from. If your PRV comes from doing personal whiff boxes because that's what brings you joy, so be it. If your PRV comes from doing mystery bags, so be it. If your PRV comes from doing whatever it is, as long as it's authentic, real, not pay to play, PRV is PRV. There is no single PRV that is worth more than another. So if you have 2,000 PRV, you're getting paid $600 before your team, regardless of how you got it. If that means you're going to work super, super hard and work triple the amount of time that other people do, then so be it. But PRV is PRV. This is like the gold nugget from Queen JA, because I don't think that I've ever heard this before. So I want you to write this down because I was mind blown and I still have to like go back and like take some more notes on this. Sales. We are in a direct selling company, right? We are in network marketing. When we are a network marketer, we have two objectives for people that we talk to. We want them to buy our product, but then we also want them to realize that they can do what we do, right? But sales a lot of times is like the key funnel into the thing. I was never a salesperson. I'm still not a salesperson. I literally just share what I love. But what Jennifer Anderson said was, when you are doing sales, you need to present FAB, F-A-B, F-A-B. You keep it short, simple, and concise, but F stands for features. A stands for advantages, and B stands for benefits. I'm going to actually type that in the chat box too. FAB, features, advantages, benefits. So just as a little experiment right here off the top, I want you guys in the chat box, tell me a feature of a full-size warmer. Just in the chat box. Actually, you can tell me all FAB, features, advantages, and benefits of a full-size warmer. And I'm going to be right back. Okay, so all the comments, love this. Okay, so bigger scent throw allows you to spread the scent, more cubes, um, half a bar, glow light, warms the wax to a perfect temperature. Yes. More square footage, home decor. Yes. Um, safe, doesn't overheat, won't burn, smell spreads. Yes. So, like all of those things, ask yourself, have you necessarily been presenting that way, especially to a brand new consultant, or not a brand new consultant, like a potential customer? So, when you are talking sales, if you can focus around FAB, then that is going to really like entice people to be interested, because think about it. I leave my warmers on 24/7. Have I told everybody that? Nope. Not in a hot minute. And if I'm not telling everybody that I leave mine on 24/7 and that the wax cools on contact and that the warmer isn't hot and Marley can touch it, what am I doing? Why am I not telling people that? Because that is a selling point. Honestly, that's why I started using Scentsy. I wanted my house to smell good. I leave my warmers on all the time. I'm not worried about my house burning down. Like, I know that it's a warmer and not a burner, because I have used Walmart warmers in the past and they do burn you, or they do get much hotter. So I want you guys to think about that and ask yourself if you've been doing that, because I know that that was something where I'm like, oh God, I need to check myself. Have I been doing that maybe with Scentsy Fresh? Yeah, because I'm spraying it on my bed every day. I'm sharing that you can spray it. I'm on fabrics and stuff like that. But am I doing it with our wax and warmers? Because let's be honest, wax and warmers still make up 80% of our revenue in Scentsy. And that's still what we're known for. And I've done a YouTube video on why they should choose Scentsy wax. But am I educating my customers enough on that? No, I'm not. And so that's a good self-reflection point. If you are brand new, and even if you're not brand new, I always, and I wrote that down as well, you should have your product training guide. So if you're not sure about what a feature and a benefit is of a certain product, guys, it literally says features and benefits under every single product. So use it. If you're going to go do a Facebook Live, use it. The dish soap, feature and benefit, easily removes food particles, great foaming action, concentrated formula, gentle on skin. Use this in your post. I'm not saying go and like copy verbatim what's in the product training guide, but this is like your Scentsy Bible. This should be exactly what you're using. Yes, our wax is made in the US. So like that's exactly, and if you're not already using your product training guide, especially if you're having trouble getting sales, I'm really going to encourage you to do that, because even as seasoned consultants, we struggle with those types of things too. And like me going to where it says sales tips, like there are plenty of things that I read sometimes where I'm like, well, dang, I used to do that, but I haven't done that in a while, or I haven't done it consistently. So like make sure that you're doing that. And I get one every catalog season. So remember FAB. I always like to ask myself, am I being a professional problem solver with Scentsy? That's kind of where I went with it. But then hearing what Jennifer Anderson said, I'm being a professional problem solver, but let me also answer that problem, right? Answer the question with the features and benefits. So features, advantages, and benefits. Now, let me also say that I do feel like it's not a good idea to like bash Yankee Candle or bash Walmart or whatever. Like, I don't feel like that's good business practice. For me, what I'm going to say is like the other guy. Or I can say, oh, I don't use candles because of the soot or whatever, but be very, very careful if you're naming a specific company, or like Bath and Body Works, etc. You don't want to just you don't ever want somebody to feel like you're bashing another company when you're with a specific company, if that makes sense, you know, because you still want to seem like a positive person, but you don't want to like downgrade it. So even if somebody says, well, if a customer asks me what the difference is, I'm going to straight up tell them like Walmarts are going to burn you, but I'm going to say it in a nice way. So just think about the way that you are presenting that. And I love what Liza and Jessica are talking about American made products. And that's something that Scentsy really went to this past year, was with our bars being poured in the United States. And we are outsourcing some of those fragrance oils. And that's why you're going to see some of the issues with the bars, but it's not because we're outsourcing the whole thing. And Jen said, I always tell them our wax will smell different in a Walmart warmer, vice versa, because of the temp of the bulbs. Absolutely. Yes, Kayla. Yes. I know Pink Sands is so good. So good. But, and then for instance, I had a customer who's a brand new Scentsy consultant. She uses Bath and Body Works and she wanted some scent descriptions. So I said, tell me what scents you like from Bath and Body Works. And your girl has never smelled any of those, but your girl Googled them and I wrote down what notes were in it. And then I went to my website and I figured out what notes were in those different scents or whatever. And when I gave her a bag party, because I'm not just going to take her order, because she wanted to order like $130 worth of stuff. I'm like, girl, you need to find somebody else to order with you, blah, blah, blah. I made sure that those scents were in there. And she ordered almost all of the ones that I had suggested based on what she had liked from Bath and Body Works. So make sure that you're using that, okay? The last two things I want to talk about, because we are almost at an hour, is providing outstanding customer service. You need to treat your customers like gold, because they can and they will buy from anyone. If you are not treating them well, they are not going to keep buying from you. I don't care if it's your family. And I know that sounds ugly, but I've had people that have bought from me who their family members sell, but they don't get a scent circle. They don't get a sample. They don't get a thank you note. They don't get anything. They just get their order. It doesn't matter. You need to treat every single person like gold, because every single person you treat like gold knows a circle of people that you don't know. And in this business, word of mouth and referrals are key, because I'm going to trust my mom telling me that so-and-so did a good job on her hair more so than I am some random person on Facebook leaving a review, right? Because they have a relationship with those people. And Anna said, don't be ashamed to ask your customers for referrals. Absolutely. You should absolutely be asking them that. And a podcast that I listened to a couple weeks ago was like, ask for referrals right when you make that sale. So right when someone orders a 6-pack of bars, do you think you have a friend that might want to order some with you too? I'll give you a free deluxe sample. They don't care what it is. You don't even have to say that. But when they're excited when they're ordering from you, they're already thinking about you. So use that as momentum to get them to continue to refer you. That's why I do the snap and share labels. That's why we ask for referrals, because those people that you already have a relationship with and are already buying from you, it means so much more to them, from them to the person that they already know. Yes, try a sample. Referral is free. And then the last thing that I want you guys to really, really ask yourself is, how are you bringing value to your team and to your customers and to your social media following? How are you bringing value to your team, your customers, and your social media following? Because at the end of the day, generosity, authenticity, and simplicity are always going to be our core values. And I try to ask myself every day, what value am I going to be bringing to people? Whether it's making them laugh because my daughter's mullet is insane, or whether it's teaching them to how to change their wax, or teaching them that our warmers don't get as hot, or whether it's giving them a tip on being a retired teacher or whatever. How are you bringing value to people, and not just with Scentsy? Because if all you're doing is all about Scentsy, people are going to eventually not really engage with you. So how are you serving your community? Ask yourself, what are some things that you can bring value to your community that are not just about Scentsy? Whether it's sharing podcasts, sharing music you like, sharing tips you like, doing like sharing the Midnight Mom devotional, whatever it is, make sure or try to ask yourself, how are you bringing value? Because for me, I get super excited when I see somebody like share some like crazy tip, like the grease tip that I shared like a little while ago, a week or so ago, about like how you pour your grease into tin foil and all the stuff. Like I was so excited about that. And people remember that. So that is sort of all I have for tonight. Does anybody want to unmute themselves or add anything or chat? Anything? You may have to type in the chat box if you want to be unmuted, because I don't think you can unmute yourself. Oh my gosh, I love that. So Jessica said, bringing the word of God to people. I share every day a verse, and I have so many people telling me how they check my story to see the verse that I'm sharing for that day. So stay consistent. Absolutely. And I don't think I talked about that enough, but staying consistent and no matter what you do is going to breed success. And sometimes people in this business or just in life, if you're not losing weight fast enough, if you're not seeing results fast enough, you give up. But consistency is what's going to breed confidence, and it's what's going to breed success. Because none of us that have hit director or have even hit a recent promotion at all, none of us have gotten where we're at on accident. It's because of consistent action. And it's because even if you don't feel like you've been consistent, you have been. If you're a director, you've been consistent at some point. Whether you need to fix it, whether you need to feel like you need to get your life together and fix things, everybody feels like that. I feel like that right now. But consistency is 100% what's going to bring you success. So if you show up every day, you're being the Scentsy lady every day, you're bringing value every day, you're teaching every day, you're doing the things every day, it's going to bless you. You just have to stay the course and not give up, because that's where the 1%ers are. They're the people who didn't give up. They're the people who continue to work when they didn't want to, because at the end of the day, that's when it matters the most, is the people that get up and do the work even when they don't feel like it. Right? So thank you, Kim. Kim said she's new to the group. I'm so thankful for the supportive environment and pray that you all have a wonderful month. And I want you guys to know that I pray over y'all's businesses every single day. I promise you I do. I am so thankful for every single one of you guys. I want you guys to know that you are here for a reason. You are called. You are qualified. You are not here on this call on accident. And I don't know why I'm getting so emotional, but I just feel it. And I just want you guys to know that this season and this fall can be what changes your life and can be what absolutely changes your situation. And you get to decide what to do. Kayla, let me see. I'm going to unmute you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I have taken personally from other businesses I've done, and it kind of stuck with me, is I'll choose 100 names. I'll give myself 5, maybe 10 minutes and just write down the names. And it doesn't matter really how I know them. It's just whatever pops up in my head first. And then I'll go through that list and pick maybe 10 to 50 of them that would help me at like 2 a.m. no matter what it need or what anything I needed or anything like that. Who would be there for me the most. And then out of those people, I would do like 10 a day, and those would who I would kind of target first on who would be interested in with my business.
I love that. That's a really good, that's like a really good thing. Like 2 a, I used to say this thing to my best friend about being my 2 a.m. Like she would be who I would call at 2 a.m. if I needed something. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Especially if you're brand new. And even when you're not brand new, guys, we all still have to go back and redo our list. You should always be adding to your list. Thank you for that. Anybody else? All right, y'all. Well, I hope this was helpful. If you are a lead or above, we have our call scheduled for next week. And I am going to be doing some trainings this week on some different things. So definitely post on your team pages, our leaders page, etc. if there's something specific that you guys want to chat about. But I know that September is going to be an amazing month, and there are so many more exciting things coming up in September. And I know that this can be your biggest month yet. So I love y'all. Have a good night, and I will see y'all soon. Good night.